All right. Quick backstory before we get started. A few weeks ago, I kept seeing this picture poking around on all the feeds, and I honestly thought that it was just something goofy, somebody 3D printed. So I didn't pay much attention to it, but I eventually clicked on it. When I clicked on it, it turned out that DAL was making these here foldable props. So I was bored, so I went into a group and I basically just said that these were dumb, trying to get people all riled up, and it did, like usual. So basically people were like, you never try anything new, all you do is shit on stuff that's new, which is true. And then the DAL rep got in there and he called me a dick, basically, which is basically true. So I bought some. I got 2 sets. We're going to test them. Before I came out, I did a quick overview. I measured all the stuff and all the weights and all that jazz, and gave my opinions. That's coming up next. If you're not interested in that and you just want to get straight to the flying, this is when the flying starts in the video. I'll put a little timestamp up there. And yeah, so I'm going to warm up with my regular setup, and then I'll put these on and then fly these around, see how they fly. And then once I figured out how they fly, I'll crash them a few times and see if I can break them, do turtle mode and all that jazz. So yeah, stay tuned. So I got some of these fucking things. These are the new DAL folding props. Anyone who's been flying for more than a few years have seen a version of these from a different company. They're nothing new. They don't claim to be anything new either. They're just what they came out with. You get them in a bag, kind of like this. They send you 12 propeller blades and 4 hubs. They come like this. I obviously put this one together ahead of time. So basically what you got to do is you got to take the propellers, get the ones that are like, and I get 3 that are the same, I'll be good. And you take one hub. Let's get this stuff out of the way for now. Take one set of hub pieces and the 3 propellers, and then you just kind of put them on, and you can figure it out. The one thing you probably do need to be aware of is that you're not mismatching propellers, so you wouldn't want two in one. It'd probably not fly right if that's the case. These are basically, let's do a quick measurement here just to see. Let's get the calipers out. These are my crap-tastic calipers, and they need a battery. But let's give them a measurement, because what I'm looking at here is that this part of the actual propeller here doesn't function as far as lift goes. So the only lift you're going to be getting is out of this part of the blade. So you can't count that. So basically what you got is right here, and you're looking at about 4.3 as far as actual diameter of blades. So when you buy these, you got to keep that in mind. You're actually getting a 4.3 blade and not a 5.1 blade. Now you can compensate for lack of length that's what she said, with a more aggressive pitch. So this is a Mr. Steel S4 blade, and this is a DAL blade. So let's just get a idea, and I'll switch to metric because those numbers are easier to work with. And what we'll do is we'll just drop this down and see what the pitch of the blade is coming off of the deck. Doesn't really tell you much, but it kind of, at least it'll tell you which one's bigger. 6.5 millimeters the pitch is coming off the deck, and this one is roughly 5.5 millimeters. So they're not making it up as far as pitch goes. Now this is all aerodynamic shit, so like I said, I'm not making any statements here. I'm just pointing out the obvious, that they're different is what I'm getting at, and they're not, doesn't seem like they're beefing up the lift with the actual pitch. But like I said, I haven't flown these yet, so we'll see. What we got as far as, let me get a different blade for better contrast. These are the S3 props, so let's check them at the widest point right here. The widest point, they're 14.1 millimeters, and the S3s are 15.1, S4s 15.4. So like I said, not only is it a shorter blade as far as lifting area goes, but it seems like there's less pitch and actually less blade altogether is what I could see as far as that goes. I don't know if you could see the contrast there as far as what's missing on the blade. So again, never flown them, so I don't know for sure, but these would seem to be you'd have less lift out of these blades. So let's go to the cocaine scale. The choice of your local drug dealer, and we are on grams. Zero it out. Now this blade is 4.2 grams. The S3 is 3.6 grams, so these are considerably lighter, and the S4s are 3.9 grams. And just for old school reference, these are DAL Cyclones, and these are 4.2, 4.3. Yeah, actually they weigh the same as the Cyclones. So if you're going from Cyclones to these, you're really not losing anything as far as weight goes. So my confirmation bias for these props, which confirmation bias means I'm looking at something and I've already made up my mind. What I am thinking these props are going to do is basically self-destruct, and I don't think they're going to fly very well. Now, props are a very individual thing. One person can love a prop, another person can hate them, and everybody's happy. So, like I said, what I'm looking for out of these, I don't want them to self-destruct when I crash, because when I fly these props, I'm fairly confident if I crash in a place where I won't be able to get to, like on a roof or something, I'm pretty sure these props will hold up good enough to get turtle mode, get me right side up, and get me off of the roof. If those props can hold up, and I'm really gonna just fly the shit out of these after I'm done flight testing them and see if I can break them. So we'll test that, and I will try to see if I think it's a flyable prop. So like I said, I want to see. I mean, it might induce jello into the GoPro. You never know. We'll see that when I'm flight testing them and like the characteristics of it actually flying. So I think that is just about it for these props. So now I'm going to take these out to the field and rip them around, smack the shit out of them. I got 2 bags just in case. Oh yeah, before I forget, one of the things I was thinking that would be a nice plus for these is if you get a couple of batches of them, when you just bugger up one prop, you won't have to replace them all, which these is the case with these. But the problem is, I mean, you will save money on props because you're not replacing them that often if you're just replacing one single propeller at a time. The problem I had with this one when I was playing with it is that, I mean, you still got to take the prop off, so you're not saving any time that way. But they are a fucking pain in the ass to get apart. Which, I mean, is probably a good thing so they don't fall apart. But, like I said, they are not easy to come apart. I did it with, down here. Let's do it on camera so we could see how hard it is. Let's try these. There you go. So you kind of got to get it from both ends here to actually get them apart. And even then, it's kind of a pain in the tits. Oh, jeez. But, yeah, as you can see, it's not easy. They are a tight fit once they're on. I'm on. And that one's out, but this one's still holding on. There. Yeah, so I mean, you see, it's not a quick and easy change with these propellers. I mean, putting them back together is pretty cut and dry. And like I said earlier, I think one of the things, if you are using these, you're going to have to be a little extra vigilant on making sure you're not mismatching propellers on each individual prop. So, all right, that's it. I'm going to go out and fly these. You'll see this, and then maybe when I'm all said and done, I'll sit back down at the bench and we'll either look at the remains of what's left of these things and see what happens. Like I said, they might impress me, they might not. I don't know. I don't care. They got to be pretty good to replace these, which I doubt it. But like I said, if they're flyable and they don't explode, I give them a pass. Alright, so the audio for this got screwed because of the wind, so I'll just do it this way. Right off the bat, I'm noticing that I got to stay above half throttle just to keep it level, and that's not what I like. So I'm just kind of poking around here, getting a feel for stuff. Now right here I'm going to check for jello on punch outs, and it's looking like it's not existent at all, which is pretty good because I got no ND filter on this and it's like almost noon, so that's a plus. Now I'm just going to start poking around and doing quote-unquote tricks just to see how they feel. I think I do like a little yaw spin here. Yeah, nothing big. A little bit tighter one coming up here, and yeah, like I said, they're about average. But again, I mean, I'm digging into the throttle just to keep the thing from burying itself into the ground. This I punched up over that tree. I had to give it better part of 3/4 of a throttle just to get it to grab, to get it over that. And again, I had to dig into it pretty good to keep it from smacking into the ground. Yeah, again, just poking around, seeing how they feel, feeling them out. Now I notice right here, once you get above 3/4 throttle, they seem to really grab. So that's a thing, and that's probably why I overshot that little power loopy thing. Get a little bit better idea what's going on right here. And like I said, I still overshoot it, so it's like nothing, and then all of a sudden they just grab on, and you're shooting to the moon. So maybe a higher kV motor would be appropriate for these props. So let's skip ahead a little bit here. Right here I'm going to do a punch out and then fall back into just checking for any undue prop wash. And as you can see, it looks like it actually handles it fairly well. Right, yeah, see, it a little bit, but I mean, the way I was going down into it, I mean, it's It's negligible, and you would never fly like that anyway. Alright, so the first crash we do here is your standard cartwheel. Rolls over pretty good, and I land bottom side down, and you can already hear a little bit of a buzz going on with the prop, so I landed just to give it a good look. Everything seemed to turn out okay. I straightened out a prop, and now I'm just going to whip it around and find a random tree. That one looks good, and don't. So, of course, it lands flat side down. Props are still making shitty noises, so putt around a little bit more. See if I can find another tree. Well, let's do this one again. Oh, okay. There you go. It takes back off again. And I'm starting to see a little jello in the footage, so we definitely got some wonky ass props going on here. Now, the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to beat the shit out of them, and you don't need to hear me talk about it, so. So let's start off with the good. These did not explode like I thought they would, so that is a plus. I did notice after a couple of good crashes that the little pivots here really locked up pretty good. When I first put these together, they would flop all over the place, and now they're just kind of stiff. They did take some damage, but I did beat the shit out of them, so that's to be expected. Like I said, they don't really seem to bend too much, so that's another plus. What I do, that's about it as far as good stuff goes. I really didn't feel comfortable ripping into these props too much as far as flying wise, because they basically fly like a 4-inch prop, which is basically what they are. So I don't know. I usually fly a heavy quad too, so I mean that's got something to do with it. But I mean, even then, I mean it was like flying a 5-inch fully set up with 4-inch props. So that's my opinion on that. I mean, if you got just a regular quad that's pretty light and you're not running a GoPro, maybe these would be okay for you, but I mean, you're really not gaining anything aside from fold down props so they pack in your bag a little easier. So I mean, if that's really important to you, but then I mean, still it's the point where you could, I mean, there's a lot better, I mean, a lot more aggressive props you could buy. So I don't know what problems these fix. I mean, personally, I would just say that they're a gimmick to, I don't know, maybe people who are migrating from DJI see these and think that they saw them on their Mavic, so they're probably better. But my personal opinion is they're gutless. They really don't grab the air. I had trouble flying, like doing punch outs with them, because I had to dig in so much, and then you'd come down, and like I said, you had to really dig in to keep it from hitting the ground. They didn't corner well because they weren't biting the air, so you were constantly pumping the throttle coming in and out of corners. So that's it. Buy them if you want. I'll never use them again because they are, like I said, they're gutless. And that's about it. So thanks for watching.